Welcome everybody to the Vertebrate Paleontology Preparation Lab at the Academy of Natural Sciences. I'm Fred Mullison, Ted Deschler's fossil preparator. So fossil preparators are the guys and gals who take the fossils out of the rock so that they can be examined by the principal investigator and published on. So it's an important step in the discovery and publication process. So what we do in the lab is we'll take a slab of fossils and we'll start working on discerning them and making them clearer. Sometimes we'll remove them completely from the rock. Sometimes after we've removed them from the rock, it will be necessary to make models of them, and so we can make plastic reproductions. This isn't real. Neither is this one here. These are both repros. But what I'm going to concentrate on today is showing you how we take a fossil specimen and get it out of the rock. So we're going to move over to my workbench and I'm going to explain my tools. This is where I take the fossils out of the rock so the principal investigator can study them and publish on them and tell everybody outside what we've got. It's basically a pretty simple process. It's basically a matter of removing rock from fossil bone. And you'll notice that this is a small specimen, and that's because basically this is a micro preparation laboratory. We don't prepare dinosaur bones here. We prepare little things. And so basically everything I work on for the most part can fit inside of a bread box or smaller. And so to do this kind of work, obviously it's close, it's precise. You need a microscope, and that's my main tool, my Leica microscope, right here. This is the bad boy that lets me get it all done. And to go with the microscope, you have to have plenty of light. And so we've got a fiber optic, and we've got two light bulbs on it, and it gives me plenty of light, and so that way I can work on the fossil specimen. And the main tool I use is simply a hard carbide needle. And this is attached, this is connected into a pin vise, and it has a tube coming out of it. The tube is for compressed air. The compressed air lets me blow the chips away as I'm working on the specimen. We can work on the specimen a little bit here, and we can remove a little of the matrix, and I can blow that dust away from the fossil, and so I can continue to see what I'm doing. And if I get into a situation where I need to remove more material faster, guess what? I've got power tools. So this is an air scribe, and it runs on compressed air that comes out of this tube. And this is a reciprocating tool. It's like a miniature jackhammer. It's not like a dentist tool. It sounds like a dentist tool, but it's not a dentist tool. It doesn't go around. It goes front, back, reciprocates like a little jackhammer. And so I can remove material pretty quickly with one of these. Let's take a look. So you can see that with some power tools, I can remove a lot of chips, and I can remove rock pretty quickly. So what happens if I break something? Well, the next tool set I use is basically glue. And so we have three different kinds of glue that we use. Here I've got epoxy, and everybody has this in their home probably. Same stuff. This is used for large repairs. But for finer repairs, I use a cyanoacrylate. And this is made by Paleobond, and cyanoacrylate is just a fancy name for super glue. That's all it is. And I like to use it from a little glue pot. And so I'll put a little super glue in the glue pot, and we can just put a few drops in. That's all we need to do, just a few drops. And then I've got another little tool here. This is basically just a dowel rod with a sewing needle in it. And the sewing needle is stuck in the dowel rod point first, and the little eyelet is what I use to pick up the glue. So if I have a small break that I have to fix on the fossil, I can pick up a tiny drop of glue and we can put it right on the fossil right there like that. We can glue very tiny pieces back if I break them. The third kind of glue we use is basically just a coating. It's like a kind of like a varnish, but it's not. It's a plastic glue, and it's a liquid. And we use this to consolidate the fossil when I'm done. So we can pick up a little of the glue with a brush. We can paint it on the fossil, and this helps to stabilize the fossil because they can be very fragile, and this will keep it from breaking when it's handled by a principal investigator. And so after we're done, the fossil is ready to go into the collection and be studied by the principal investigator or any other scientist who might want to visit the academy. And so we make a little nest for it. And here in our lab, we use these plastic boxes and foam, and we make a nice, comfortable little nest for the fossil. We put it in there, and now it's protected and prepared and ready for study. And Dr. Deschler can study it tomorrow or next year, or we can have another scientist come from Europe or wherever, Australia. They can come in and they can ask for this fossil. They get a number. This one is 24206. He can ask, I want to see 24206. Here it is. That's what it's all about.